Documents released last week have led to the case against Michael Flynn being dropped today, finally putting an end to Russiagate and years of wasted time and your taxpayer dollars. At the end of 2016, national security officials of both political persuasions were concerned that Donald Trump would not be a good steward of foreign policy. Hard to control, a freewheeler. Hillary Clinton was supposed to win the election easily. Not even Trump's team really thought he would win. We went into the night knowing there was a chance Trump could win, but all the smart people said it was not going to happen. It wasn't just pollsters, pundits, and political whizzes who were assuming Hillary Clinton would cruise to victory. It was Republican bigwigs and Trump campaign staffers, too. CBS political director and Face the Nation moderator John Dickerson said he had senior Republicans in the Senate calling me the day before the election, saying here are the things Hillary Clinton is going to have to do to reach out to Republicans. The premise was that she was going to win. But Trump did win, and that led to a lot of embarrassment, hatred, and fear from Democrats of losing more ground in upcoming elections. Russiagate was born, a political conspiracy aimed at keeping certain officials, mostly Democrats, relevant by constantly attacking President Trump. A political tactic that would consume the news for years to come. The seeds for Russiagate were sown during the presidential campaign of 2016. Hillary Clinton and the DNC hired a former British spy to create the Steele Report. The report was based on weak allegations, but suggested that officials in Trump's team had ties to Russia. After the election, just 10 days before Trump's inauguration, CNN released details from the report. BuzzFeed published the entire dossier, and Russiagate became daily news. Even though the Steele dossier turned out to be mostly false, it was used as daily fodder for anti-Trump news, as well as FISA court warrants to spy on United States citizens. Of the accused was Trump's national security advisor and former head of the Defense Intelligence Agency, Michael Flynn. After the elections, but before the new administration took office, as part of the transition, Flynn on December 29, 2016, had a phone call with the Russian ambassador. Now, that call was about sanctions that the Obama administration had recently levied against Russia, and about asking Russia to vote against a UN resolution condemning the Israeli settlement expansion. Now, that part is actually collusion, but it is never discussed in the mainstream media because support for Israel is bipartisan in Washington. Now, the U.S. was the only country to abstain in the vote. Russia voted for the resolution. Now, the reason we know all this is because that phone call with the Russian ambassador was recorded via wiretap by the FBI, as Flynn was talking to a foreign official. In January of 2017, the FBI interviewed Flynn about his call with the Russian ambassador, knowing they already had the transcript of the call. In May, Flynn was subpoenaed by the Senate Intelligence Committee to testify about Russian meddling in the election. And by November, Robert Mueller, now heading the Russiagate investigation, determines there is enough evidence to bring charges against Flynn for lying to the FBI about the details of the call during his interview. On December 1st, 2017, Flynn pleads guilty in federal court to making false statements about his communications with Russia. He then cooperates with Mueller and his investigation for months. And then today, the case against Flynn was dropped. New unsealed FBI memos show that the Bureau found no derogatory information on former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn while investigating his alleged Russian contacts, and moved to close their investigation of him in early January 2017. Before former FBI agent Peter Strzok intervened, asking to keep the case open. It was then Strzok who went on to entrap Flynn during the interview later that month, based on the wiretap recording. If you remember, it was Strzok and Lisa Page, another FBI agent that Strzok was having an affair with, whose text messages to each other in 2016 were leaked. Trump is not ever going to become president, right? Right? No, he won't. We'll stop it. The newly revealed documents show that it was, in fact, the goal of the FBI to get Flynn to lie during the interview. Emails between Strzok and Page show conversations debating the legality of their intended actions, and a handwritten note dated the same day as the interview reveals their updated plans. I thought about it last night, and I believe we should rethink this. What is our goal? Truth, admission, or to get him to lie so we can prosecute him or get him fired? So now, years later, after no citizen of the United States has been convicted of collusion with Russia, and after the Inspector General's investigation found fraud by the FBI and the FISA courts, Flynn's case was thrown out, hopefully finally putting an end to Russiagate. Whatever you think of our current president, what has been propagated for almost 4 years now shows a calculated plan to distract United States citizens from the failures of Democrats leading up to the last election. Think of how much time and taxpayer money has been wasted on Russiagate investigations. If it weren't for the pandemic, by now we would probably have Iceland-gate or Tasmania-gate. This is not about what team you're on, but about our elected representatives doing their job instead of grandstanding and blustering because they lost. It's about voters being respected and your tax dollars being used by Congress to pass useful legislation instead of hosting their own reality shows.